All right, yeah, you guys probably saw this coming, but I'm gonna try to fix this. Stand by. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mrs. RATTLECAN'S house. I'm James, and today we're going to address the 600-pound elephant in the room, which is the cupping that has happened on the front of these raised beds. Now, I'm sure if you're a seasoned outdoor woodworker, you're just kind of chuckling at yourself. I don't know if it is the fact that it is kiln dried wood, if it is because we didn't seal it, or if it is because it frequently gets soaked and then the sun just pounds it, because obviously this is a south-facing structure. So whatever the cause is, if you have a pretty good idea, why don't you put it in the sermon notes down beneath. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a solution, and it's probably not elegant, and we're trying to make it somewhat palatable to Mrs. RATTLECAN, because if she's not happy, life's just not worth living, at least if you're me. So what we're going to do is we're going to clad this on the outside with some 2.5 inch angle iron. We're going to have a hole in that angle iron that goes on the outside of that corner. We're going to have some metal tapping screws that will go through that. They're not going to thread through those holes. They're going to drill into the inner angle iron and then pull all of that tight. That's the theory, and we'll see how close to disaster we get. So as you can see from here, the power of wood is much gooder than the power of metal in some aspects. So this stuff has cupped with so much force that it has pulled the screws off of the heads off of the screws that we used to put those on there. And some of them are worse than others, those being a good example. And some are, kind of okay. And then there's the one down there on the end that's just ugly, like an ugly thing. So we're going to have to, we're going to take some cajoling to get these braces put in place. The ones on the back, the boards that are on the back of this, the boards that are on the side of this, they're for the most part okay. We're going to put 2 screws into each board from the front and 1 screw in it from the side. So that's going to be some gymnastics that are going to be a little bit more fun. Yeah. The tools I'm using for this are really pretty easy. This is a great project for you to not use your impact driver on, because you run a fairly decent chance of either stripping your newly created thread off the inside of your angle iron, or the threads on your screw, or both, or even snapping the head off of your screw. So I will use the drill to get it in there, and then I will use just a small ratchet to tighten them up all the way. So, got a big long pipe clamp. I'll show you what we do with that here in a second. And then I got a couple of 4x4s, and you'll see what we use those for here in a minute. So here's where that these little 4x4s come in handy. So, as you can see, those boards are far from straight. They're cupped out pretty darn good. We kind of want to keep that from happening anymore. So now that I've got this clamp on, we're going to take our drill. We're going to drill through our holes just on the front. Then we're going to start sinking these screws in, and we're going to alternate which ones we tighten up, and then you're going to hear it maybe creaking and popping as we kind of get these tightened. The sprinkler system ran last night, so the front of these are pretty wet, and that's just going to help it remain flexible as we kind of crank these down, and hopefully it'll keep them from splitting. You know, we'll see. So you may be saying to yourself, why is he not drilling that bottom hole in there? Well, if we don't have to use that bottom hole, we're going to try not to, because one of the things that we are doing is we're puncturing our liner to get these in. We're kind of the thought that we may end up having to replace these liners. We've already got a leak. In one of them I've got a minor leak, and another one I've got a pretty good leak. We knew it was going to happen. So, but we're going to try to preserve that, and then when we go to what may end up happening is we end up having to replace these liners. We're going to pull all the soil out of here. Then we can just go in with a grinder and we can grind those screws flat on the inside. That way we wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. That's a tough one there. I wonder if we're on a, I bet you we're on a screw. That's what it should do. So for this final bit, I tighten this up by hand. You'll know it's gripping because these particular screws that I have, they have a washer and they have a little rubber grommet on the bottom of them. And then you can tell when you're getting close. How could we possibly have gotten on that many screws? Just lucky some days. That's good. Don't push too hard. You never know what might happen. Make sure you carry your spare bit in your mouth so you can't find it in your pockets. This hole is going to be the death of me. It seems counterintuitive, but what I did there on that last bit, when the drill bit kept catching, there's a burr in there that it kept catching on. So what I ended up doing is I put the drill in reverse. It's certainly not as efficient, but it's still going to nip away at that burr, and that was all we needed to get through there. So okay, now we're going to drill our holes in the side, because now that we've gotten this nice and flat, when we drill the holes through here to keep anything from blowing out this way, our holes aren't going to move. If we had drilled our holes at first when these boards were cupped like that, then when you pushed those boards flat, your hole would move. Now, I got a couple of these where the ends of them have been flattened off by trying to drill through that screw. So what we're going to do is we're just going to drill the very tip top of that in there, back it out, and then we can drive these in here, and that way we're not wasting stuff. So there we are. We have reinforced the front of our beds, keeping those boards from bowing up. We'll see, is this nice thick angle iron going to be enough when Western red cedar decides to bend the way it wants to bend? I don't know. You know, we'll see. This is how you learn. This is how you do stuff. And you know, the next time when we build one, we may just put the inside and the outside corners on right from the get-go, since we kind of learned that lesson. Anyways, remember, if I can do it, you can do it. And if I can do something wrong and fix it, you can just skip the doing it wrong part and fix it right the first time. Anyways, you guys have a good one. Cheers.
If you enjoyed watching this episode of Mrs. RATTLECAN'S house, consider checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and to get the latest updates on our progress, like us on Facebook. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Perhaps we should have some wine.